All right, welcome everybody. We're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. I'm actually really excited about this. Chatted with Keegan here a few weeks ago before he left on vacation and was really excited about what he's doing in his business, how he's leveraging numbers, understanding what's going on, the measurement, the accountability, the visibility, what's happening. And thought it'd be great to, instead of going slideshow presentation from an agent putting a bunch of stuff, but maybe like living more in the wild, in the trenches, with somebody and what they're doing with tech, how they're using it to basically just increase numbers of what they've got in their database. So we'll do a few intros. In fact, I'll probably do Keegan last. That way, then Keegan can kind of just jump into it. I don't know if any of you guys know this lovely lady over here. So let's start with Tiffany in case you don't know who she is.
Hey there, Tiffany Gelzenis, team leader and also realtor in residence for Follow Up Boss. And I'm just here to support today.
Love it. Brady.
Brady, lead product manager and director of growth for Maverick.
Love it. Man, a few words this morning, I guess. Basically, the brains, the genius, the puppet master behind Maverick. Everything that's working, that's going to be built, that's being built. When you have a feature request and you want to, kiss some, what to somebody, it's Brady. Or you go to me, or you go to Tiffany, or you go to somebody else, and then we relay it to Brady if you don't have direct access. So and then the star of the next 30-40 minutes, Keegan. Introduce yourself, anybody that doesn't know who you are, and let's kick this off.
Yeah, Keegan Sigfried, owner of Paramount Home Group, HQ's in Tampa, Florida. Gabe was saying, talk about in the trenches. I'm literally in my car on my way to the expansion market in Orlando that we have. So I was in Tampa on Tuesday. I was in Miami yesterday. I was in Stewart this morning, and now I'm headed to Orlando. And now finally I'll get home tomorrow. So, yes, in the trenches for sure.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and we were talking about, just, really inspecting what we've got using our tools, our tech, but really kind of figure out, we spend so much time talking lead generation and, speed to lead and 10 days of pain or whatever everything's doing. And what I kind of love about what we chatted about and what you're doing is really kind of diving more into further down the funnel, right? If we're always focused top of funnel and making the calls and building some sort of connection or rapport, but then we're not inspecting further down, like at appointments, at all of that, we're losing. And I've been jumping on with a lot of teams looking at this data. We're losing a ton of people and opportunities, deals, money, commissions at bottom of funnel.
Yeah.
And so I know this is something that you're looking at and what you're doing. So I'd love for you to kind of just walk through and talk to us as far as what areas you're looking at, why you're looking at them, and then some of the changes that you're seeing because of it.
Yeah, for sure. Good to share my screen.
Yeah, you should be.
Okay, cool.
All right, we got it.
So I was literally in it today, running our meeting down in Stewart, Florida. But one of the things that, I'm just going to do overall here instead of just the East. I live in this lately. I mean, we started using Maverick probably 6 months ago, but I find myself in this more often. Other than maybe FUB, I find myself more in this more often than anything else, right? And one of the things that has been really eye-opening for us is the ability to see, I know we're talking about down funnel stuff. However, one of the key metrics we've been seeing is total leads versus reassigned leads. And that allows us, that's one of the leading indicators that says, hey, this person is cherry picking, which means that they're leaving other opportunities on the table that other people could have, right? I want to get more people in front of more clients in front of more agents. And this is something, just looking at this, year to date, this is really telltale. However, you start to look at the appointments held, accepted deals, conversion rates, and you can start to see down here. So where are we losing them in the funnel, right? Are we losing them at the appointment? Are we losing them typically under contract? If we're losing them at the appointment, almost guaranteed it's the skill set of showing, right? And so what we've been doing a lot lately is mock showings. We will take some of our leadership and um, we will actually go to how do I go back to stop share? There we go. We'll actually like take our leadership and we'll go to houses typically vacant and we'll do mock showings so that way we can see exactly how they're showing it and then they can see how we're showing it. I think a lot of the things that is great in classrooms, we want to make sure that they're actually seeing it in the field,
But
right?
what's
And so,
happening is you've exposed those areas
mhm,
where you need more training,
yep,
right? So you're seeing you've got the data lined up.
yeah.
You're saying, oh, wait, how are we losing opportunities here? This is an opportunity to train and to fix that, to plug that leak in the boat.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point of funnels, right? Is
Right.
the first step is discovery. And, um, I was talking to a buddy on the way up here. He's another Zillow Flex guy. And, like, they're starting to roll out how many missed transactions you have.
Yep.
And it hurts so bad to hear it, right? Like he was telling me, he's like, yeah, over the last 12 months, we've missed out on 275 transactions on leads that came in that closed somewhere else for 113 million. And it just like it hurts, but it tells you, okay, now I know where to audit. Now I need to see which agents are losing where in the funnel, right? And so Maverick obviously lets me do it. I know, I don't work for Maverick. That's not my thing to tout companies at the top, but like I use it. It's just something that I use on a regular basis, and it really helps group coaching and individual coaching for sure.
Yeah, I love that. And you mentioned, so you guys are a Zillow team, or in some of your markets, you guys are doing Zillow.
Yeah, we're in Zillow in 4 out of our 5 markets.
Got it. So,
Yep.
and I think that's one of the things that I'm seeing when I'm working with a lot of teams right now, that whether it's Zillow or RDC or whatever it is, right? Portal, leads, lower funnel. I think you were talking about the reassigning, and I'd love to get into some of the other metrics and things that you're looking at. But I know one of them that we're watching a lot on those, because so many of them lead to appointment on the first call, right? I mean, as part of the ALM thing, is monitoring those appointments to what's happening, because we've seen, especially when there's high lead flow coming in, that yeah, we're setting the appointments, we're getting it, probably doing a first showing, but most of the teams, once we're getting everything set up and then we start diving into appointments, most of these appointments, or not most, but a lot, have 0 outcomes. So we don't know what happened or not. Did they meet? Did they not meet? Which is another metric we know we need to update for Zillow to hit, and it syncs back and forth. But then also things happen, the no shows, the cancellations that are happening. And is it something, and I'd ask you, if you're on here watching this, listening to this, if you're a Zillow team, if you're RDC, if you're anything where a lot of appointments are happening, are you looking at the metrics, and are you looking at the details of how much effort is going into rescheduling and getting people back on your calendar that once were, versus the 10 days of pain? Not saying it's not important. I've already got somebody messaged me on another webinar like, I can't believe you're saying it's not important to, speed the lead and hit. I'm like, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying we shouldn't have less emphasis on rescheduling a no-show or a rescheduled appointment than what we do on a brand new lead who we've never spoken to or have the time of day.
I'm glad you said that, Gabe. One of the things, and I'm speaking to across the country, right? So agents in all different parts of, so yes, one of the things that we're seeing here in Florida specifically is huge buyer's market now. And yes, speed to lead is important, but the nurture is so much more important because now buyers, the sales cycle, what used to be like Zillow lead comes in, you're going to get them under contract in the next 60 days. Now it's like 120 to 180 days because now there's not a scarcity anymore, right? Inventory is super high. And so we've really focused on going back in to nurture our people that we did have appointments with that didn't end up doing anything, or the like RTTs. A lot of RTTs will, I shouldn't say a lot, but a decent majority end up doing no shows, right? So we have a rule on our team. We're not going to go to the appointment unless the person confirms on a real-time tour.
Yeah.
Right?
So RTT is real-time tour,
Yep.
just to make sure everybody's tracking there. I'm wondering if you guys have seen this too, because this is something we've seen on our team, is the type of initial appointment is also affecting the outcome of the funnel. So for example, we see a higher success rate if our initial appointment with a buyer is a consultation, even if it's a 15-minute Zoom call, versus if that first appointment is at a showing. So, and if we're tracking that to the appointments set to our transactions closed, we have a higher success rate with those buyer consults versus those first time showings. And that's another thing that's been exposed with the ability to track outcomes and to know when those appointment outcomes aren't added.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, it's funny, we talk about leaderboards, right? And Maverick's got the leaderboards, and every single time I look at the leaderboards, you tend to see those people at the top are typically the people that are outperforming everybody else. Right? Like as far as activity goes, right? Like I'm looking at one where our top contact attempts, Annie O'Sullivan, she just signed like 6 listings last month, and her contacts are like triple what most others are. Just having that clarity and then being able to put that in front of others so they can see, hey, actually following up with your people gets you to make more money.
Yeah, it's not just about speed to lead, it's also about speed to action, or, the activity behind someone, the things that are going on, and speed to addressing that active action or that activity as well.
Yeah. Yep. The other thing we've found a lot of success with is the ISA dashboard. You know, we have I've kind of shifted my mindset over the last probably 12 months to where, because the Zillows of the world have almost spoiled us to the point where I just want to answer the phone and go on appointments. Well, a lot of times with our push leads, anything that's not a direct connect, we've started to shift those to ISAs so they can nurture those people for us. And that way now FUB can do the direct connects, right? And so now anything outside of Zillow, like realtor.com or Movoto or Google PPC Ylopo, right? Anything like that, our ISAs are working because I want our agents working down funnel leads.
I like that.
Right?
So there's a question in here. Just I want to address some of these as we go.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if we can, Keegan, I would love to kind of show the parts. Just when we're talking about different parts, maybe show what you're looking at when we're going through there. But
Yep.
somebody is asking, how are you getting appointments to commit to a buyer consult before viewing homes? Sometimes it's the same day, or appointments can't be confirmed, seller, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the idea is how are you getting those commitments first?
The commitments to the buyer, to a BBA, or just to commitment to go see the house? Make sure I'm reading this
To
right.
commit to a buyer consult, which to me, the consult is where you get the BBA signed, I think. So and clarify me, Stephanie, if that's not what you're asking.
Yeah, I think for us, the way I've been trained even since day one is my first appointment, I personally like it at the house, right? Like to me, that's my interview, right? Especially if it's a lead that's wanting to see a house. Like if it's a referral who says, Keegan, I'm looking to work with you, right? Then I want to meet with them before we're seeing houses. But if this person is contacting me just to see a house and they don't know me yet, I want them to see me at the house, because my mindset is always, and the way we train is, you have to understand that the client has probably already spoken with or met with another agent. So you need to meet them at that house and really wow them. I want them walking away, be like, oh my gosh, that's my guy, that's my woman, like that's my agent, right? And so I wouldn't say I'm getting them to commit prior to viewing the home. I'm just making sure they show up to the home, obviously confirming, yes, it works with the seller, yes, it works with the buyer, but that commitment is typically done at the kitchen counter of that first showing.
So, and I can address this as well, because that is, I think I brought up the differences in the success rate for the appointment type. So for us, if we're setting up a showing with somebody, we'll say, hey, I have some paperwork that I'd like to review with you. I don't want you to feel any pressure, especially needing to have the buyer agreement signed before that first showing. You know, I just want to set up a quick, like, we'll get the showing confirmed, so we're not pushing them off. They don't feel like we're trying to put hurdles in the way. But then we'll say, you know, do you just have 15 minutes where we can jump on a quick Zoom call before the showing's at 3? Can we jump on a Zoom call at 1:30 really quick and just go over the process, the paperwork, and any questions that you might have? Because I don't want you to feel pressured to sign something right away just to get in the door, or you know, what have you. And that's been very successful. And we do find that when we do that and have that quick consultation first, that we have a higher success rate.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
And it puts a face to a name. It makes like meeting at the house, you know, you've established that level of professionalism as well. But again, that's because we've exposed that data, right? You know, going back to the benefit and importance of Maverick and having all that data, it's because we've exposed that data by tracking the appointment type and the appointment outcome, staying on top of all that, just to kind of come full circle there.
Yeah, and I'm going to show something real quick too, and then Brady, I want to get to you to kind of talk about some of the stats. So, and I've done this with multiple teams. Just did this with another massive team yesterday, and one of the things that makes it easy. So I'm just pulling up month-to-date appointments. We're moving in the right direction, right? You know, working with you know, the team leads at Slack and everything to work on appointments to get our outcomes and not held down as much as possible. Everybody has room for improvement, right? Nobody's perfect. I think anybody's saying they've got all their stuff dialed in and it's perfect. Well, I haven't met them yet. So anyway, but one of the things we're talking about, what Tiffany is, I love coming in here, pulling up basically just team leads. We don't monitor Sphere, but just our team generated leads, running a report month to date and going through. And what things that I'm looking for, I love to live over on this side. Scheduled's great. Held's fantastic. I'm going to trust the agents more here, but I love to live here. This is where I think we're losing a lot in the funnel, is our appointments that are not held or no outcomes, which is crazy, because you can set up Maverick to text the agents to get these updated, which update the stage and follow boss, adds notes, everything. But then in these, you know, not helds and no outcomes, you can literally just then whittle down straight to them. And what I start seeing, especially in the no outcomes, is, you know, these first showings. Now this one's under contract. But if you start knowing which one's the spot check, I guarantee if you start going into these first showings, a lot where it wasn't quite the right home or something came up, they didn't make it, whatever it is, but you now basically have a footprint, a no-show. Great. What have we done since that appointment to get them back out there? These are real people you've been connected with or in the database. And if we spent a little bit of time just isolating and looking at these that have not been held, that were no shows or rescheduled, right? To find out, where are we at? Have we sent them something of value? Is the home they inquired on still there? The biggest thing we're seeing, the teams that are initiating a custom link of homes and then saying things, because Keegan mentioned this in his market, and obviously every market's a little bit different, but finding homes that have been sitting in the market for 2-3 weeks that do not have price reductions yet, to grab those, send them out to your appointments that no showed or rescheduled, or maybe it just wasn't the right one, saying, hey, Keegan, I found these list of homes and I think I can negotiate a lower price and terms. Are you interested in any of these? I'd like to get you scheduled. Like, we got to be asking, right? Like, find something of value. I think what's happening, or not, I think what I'm seeing most teams do, especially with Zillow, RDC and all this, is they're either just waiting for the next one to come in or hoping that the consumer's on Zillow and just finds another one, which it does patch through and goes to FUB, but you're really gambling a lot here. And we have got to be doing more to put something in front of them of value. Buyers have not been used in a lot of these markets for how many years now to be told that they could potentially negotiate a lower price or terms or rate buy downs, right? Grab some of these homes. We see them sitting. We're seeing more price reductions than we've seen in a long time. But we, the agents, have got to be doing something to send to them and asking for that next appointment. And Brady, I want to go to you a little bit, because I know you did some research, whether it's on phone, and I think most of yours is phone call based, not text, I think. But the research that you found, basically, once agents start role playing a bit more, we love the AI coach, right? Because they're role playing, learning how to ask for appointments. But I love some of the stats that you've pulled up, and I'd love to share that, because it just comes down to not working harder, just changing a little bit about what we're saying or changing a little bit about the work that we're actually doing already.
Yeah, of course. I'll pull up the deck in a second here. I think just one thing to call out, right? It's one thing to have a report that shows an issue, right? Like, oh, I now have data. I can see my appointments rate is at X. It's another thing then to do something with it, right? And so that's the key thing to hold in your head as we go through these numbers. And I think that's the what the value of the platform is, right? Like we're not only showing you an issue, we're allowing you to nudge, we're allowing you to coach. So then you can see the impact in the data of these actions that you're taking. You can take other actions outside of what we give you, and you do, and that's what is making this magical, right? Is actually using the data to then make data-driven decisions to then increase your outcomes, right? So let me pull up our deck. So I've already seen some of these numbers. I think we shared a few of these at the Success Summit. We started with just individual team case studies, right? So, okay, before somebody implemented Maverick, a typical month, after somebody implemented Maverick a typical month, and even the one here you can see in March, not fully matured, meaning that there are still deals that are running in cycle right now, so that conversion rate can go up even further. But for this particular team, you can see in October, with about the same team size, about the same number of agents, we're talking about 617 leads to 1,239 leads in March, and making sure that they actually continued to get at least one call in on every single one of those leads. They actually increased their overall rate using Maverick. Same thing with the appointments, 556 set on those leads, 90% coverage. Then actually doubled that to 92% set rate, 1,150, and their held rate went up. So from 17% to 39%, they're actually getting more people to sit down with them based on those asks. So it's one thing if you're just more consistently asking and again setting them, but if you're not looking at those outcomes, if you're not actually doing the rescheduling, and if you're not doing the coaching to increase the quality of those conversations when you set those appointments, you don't see that held rate go up, right? And so that's where all these different pieces that we've been talking about come into play. That then, again, appointments being the leading indicator of success actually bears out in the conversion rate where they doubled that from 5 to 10, right? So this is just one team though, right? And we looked at a couple of others. We saw similar trends. How does this actually stack up across the entire?
And when you go into this one real quick, I want to also just point out, like, a lot of us are using Maverick. Find something. If you've got something that can pull all the data, that's great. Obviously, we're talking about Maverick because that's what we've built and integrated with Follow Up Boss and all that. So if you have a way, the numbers are going to be the numbers, right? It's because the action, the training they did, these are the results. And it's easier to see in Maverick. It's easier to find these spots, and you have the AI coaching. So just want to make sure, like, we want to go through the results of doing the work, role playing, learning what to say, and then knowing how to go find the results inside of Follow Boss.
Definitely. And so I just want to look purely at nudging and look at it across 150 teams that are using Maverick, right? And so we basically done two categorizations. We have the people who bought it, maybe aren't using it, so they have zero average nudge actions. They're not actually following through and doing any of the things to try and keep the leads moving down the funnel. And then we had very high activity teams. Of course, there's step in between here, but let's say average 140 average nudge actions in a standard quarter, right? And so what do we see come out of that, right? We see 66% more call actions, 73% more text actions. We see total communications just go up by 72%. And that actually leads to 15.8 completed deals on average versus 7.5, a 112% increase there. And so look at that efficiency, right? 0.91 deals per 1,000 communications, up to 24% in terms of efficiency versus the 0.74. And you could think of the low nudge activity teams also as a proxy for people who don't use Maverick at all, right? So the nudge system just helps you to find those spots in your sales funnel where you're not picking up the phone or you're not getting the team to text, gets them to go out and do that. Those call volumes and text volumes are predictive and correlate to appointments and closes, right? So you just have to do the dials and the texts, and Maverick helps you to catch that. And so you can see here of the nudge leads, 32% that we or the teams ended up using the nudge system for actually went and set an appointment, and then 19% actually closed as a result of that. So again, huge numbers. If you're just, this is one thing that Maverick offers, the nudging system, out of like 14 different reports, AI coaching, AI call grading. We're not even talking about that. We're just talking purely about you click the nudge button, you let your agents know when they have missed a call cadence or a text cadence, and they go and resolve that, right?
So real quick, Brady, on the nudging, one of the things that I got to be honest with you. When we started Maverick, it is such a vast system, and there's a lot of systems that we started with. I mean, shoot, even Flex. Remember when that how detailed that can be? Um, it is so much to learn. And one of the things that we've been really good at is we call it scheduled progress. So one of the things that we've done is we've really dove deep into having weekly and bi-weekly cadences with our success manager at Maverick, so they can continue to show us one piece at a time.
Yeah.
Right. Some of the stuff feels so overwhelming. Like there's, it's like the analysis paralysis. So we schedule progress to learn this, and she helped us set up our nudge rules. Like she helps walk us through how to read the data. I know, and I think sometimes like we forget to do that. I think that probably goes back to just simple time blocking, but I think understanding a little bit at a time to learn this goes a long way.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to reinvent the entire thing or understand. I feel this way with Follow-Up Boss. So many people come to me and they'll say, I feel like I'm not using all of the capabilities of Follow-Up Boss. Well, I mean, I'm not using all the capabilities of Follow-Up Boss, and I'm their realtor in residence. There's so many capabilities, right? But you just keep building on it over time. And it's that progress over perfection. And don't wait to start because you don't fully understand everything. Do one thing at a time. Expose the biggest impact for us was, again, the appointment outcomes, like exposing the fact that we don't have outcomes recorded, getting clear on the importance of that with the team, and then improving that. Then we could identify where are the gaps that we can improve on with training, but all of those things, it's just one little piece of the puzzle at a time. Brady, I have a question about your data.
Yeah.
When you say 1,000 communications, 0.91 deals per 1,000 communications, that's 1,000 attempts, right? So a
Correct.
call, not a conversation, but a call or a text, call or text.
Attempt.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's a good number right there, you guys. I mean, I'm a data junkie, so I'm literally going to take this information and look at my own data when I get off this call. I'll report back to you guys.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we're talking about nudges and stuff too. What I love about this, and I know it's been a little touchy, a little controversial, whatever you want to say about, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to nudge agents. I don't want them to be upset. One of the big improvements that Brady and his team have made recently to nudging is being able to, or into the rules and alerts, is being able to go in and really customize it, right? Where it used to be kind of like a set of rules. Now you can go in and change what type of outreach, what's the time frame. The most recent one, I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, now adding tags, right? There was a whole section in Maverick for, alerting about priority alerts and stuff that was happening with YLOPO. But what about all the teams that are not using YLOPO? That they have people on Zillow, they have people on Real Scout, they have people on Rooster, they have people on Easy Home Search. All of these lead sources that I know all of you in Follow Boss have seen in the community, all this activities happening on these other sites. Well, they just released it to where you can now update those rules to include that. How cool that Maverick is now telling you all of this activity that's happening from all of these different websites as a team lead, to be able to drill it down and say, hey, you might be missing something that's happening with this person here based on what your follow-up cadence and stuff is. And I think that's key, because when you look at this right here, this is what's awesome, is we're not saying, change a bunch of things. We're not saying spend tens of thousands of dollars more on lead generation and doing all this stuff. It's just saying that hey, the teams that are nudging more, that are basically inspecting the data that's going in there and helping, like, again, it's not bad Keegan. No, it's not. It's like, hey, Keegan, you have these 3 people we think might be slipping through the crack. Something is telling us you're about to lose these people, or chances are you might lose them. Hey, let's grab them back versus having to go through 40 more people to get back down to 3 hot ones. That's the whole thing here. And that's why we're trying to figure out is it's just helping identify the people that might be, we all get busy. We all have the random phone call or kid that has this, or barking dogs, or whatever it is that distract us from something. I didn't hear your dogs. I saw your text though, Tiffany.
You should have closed my door though. I was like, I gotta go close my door. I can hear my dog barking in the background.
It's just coming down to quickly identifying some opportunities and nudge. Oh, can I show one real quick, Brady? I mean, there's a few in here, and then Keegan, we'll get it back to you. I want to hear what you guys are tagging and stuff in there as well. But there's just a couple in here that I just pulled up that I'd love to show. Like, So I come into into rules and alerts, right? And again, I only look at team. I'm just looking at one particular team. I can change it through, but leads that called us that the agent missed the phone call. I mean, what's worse than having all this outreach and all this outreach? And again, I can expand these when I look at these. I can click right on these, and I see all the people that are reaching out to their agents. And if I click on their name, it pulls them right up here as well. I can see, yep, missed a call from here, right? There's outreach, no answer, no answer, no answer. They called back. We haven't called back. Outreach, some texting going on. There's a callback. I mean, there's a callback. All of these, I can literally, whoop, did not mean to zoom in like that, right? I can literally, at a click of a button, hit nudge, type in a message. Hey, you may want to check the missed call from this lead and return their call. Send.
Well, and
That quick. I'm just, go ahead.
So no, sorry, I would challenge everybody too that thinks that they're annoying their agents to change the mindset on it. Because how many times are agents asking us, like, well, I just don't know what to do. I need to go in and prospect. I don't know what to do. Well, why don't you start with calling back the people that you missed their call? Like see it as, see it as an opportunity to be like, hey, I exposed this potential like active lead for you. Instead of, I don't want to annoy them. I want to tell them what to do so that they can increase their business. And I think it comes down to mindset there.
Tiffany, you actually make me think of something. If I remember correctly, in FUB nationally, there's a stat that said the average follow-up attempt is less than 2. It was like 1.8,
1.7.
1.7, right? And there's also a stat out there, I think it's from Grant Cardone, so I don't know if it's necessarily real estate specific. The average sale happens after the 7th attempt.
Yeah.
And so you do those numbers, you're 5 attempts away from it was 80% of sales happen after the 7th attempt. Right? So it's like we're missing out on massive amounts of opportunity just by following up. And so because of that, and with the mindset of it, we want nudges to be celebrated, not, oh my God, get away from me. So
Right.
we have different things, especially in our offices, we implement into our meetings. We throw stats up there to make sure that the agent mindset is always, hey, thanks for giving me the heads up, thanks for reminding me, sorry that fell through, instead of my limiting belief when we started this was, oh my God, they're going to be so annoyed. Right?
Yep. You're just exposing opportunity for them, which is what they want us to do. That's what they want us to do with Smart Lists. That's what they want us to do with filters and all of the other things and all the expensive lead sources. They want us to expose opportunities. So we just have to speak to that language with nudges as well. And then it becomes part of the culture, which is what it sounds like you're doing, Keegan.
You're giving me PTSD talking about Smart Lists right now.
All right. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm that guy.
You're that guy. Anybody
So,
that missed the summit, Keegan told me that he literally just set up Smart Lists and Follow Up Boss, you guys. Just
yes. Yeah, we're going to do probably 1,100 units this year, and we just implemented Smart List like 45 days ago.
So there's that progress over perfection, you guys.
Yes.
Progress over perfection.
Yeah, I took a nugget already from Gabe that I wrote down about the one of the reasons to follow up. Hey, I found these couple houses that have been on the market a couple weeks. I think I can have some good negotiating power. I already texted it to my assistant. We're adding it to our value bank. One of the things we've really honed in on, talking about remembering to follow up and then following up on what to say, right? So Gabe, I just added that to our bank, and here's a list of things that you can add value with, instead of just saying, hey, are you ready to buy or sell with me? And what we found, especially, like, I've done a lot of agent surveys lately, both in-house and just in general. Agents don't pick up the phone because they don't know what to say.
Yep.
Right. So it's not even a lack of wanting to, it's a lack of not knowing what to say. And you can only do it so much. You can only say the same thing so much. And so we've really created a value bank that we continue to use as a living document that agents can access. Hey, I'm ready to hit my Smart List today. I'm hitting our nurtures today. Here's 10 things that I can add value to without sounding like a salesperson.
So,
well, I mean, all the more reason why they should be practiced. Sorry, Brady.
No, I'm sorry. That just teed up unintentionally my last slide better than.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, all the more reason why. I mean, I know you guys are using it, but why they should be using AI Coach and role playing And why practice on the real people? Like, it's right here. I mean, these stats are nuts.
Yeah. So again, talking about one step at a time, again, 14 different aspects to the system. We're just talking about nudging that we already just covered, and then just adding in the coaching, right? Like, how do you get qualitatively better at having phone calls? You practice. And again, you hopefully don't practice on real leads that need that level of quality from the start. You practice with the AI. And so teams, again, that are doing high amounts of coaching along with high amounts of nudging, look at that appointment success rate. Like, it's just insane versus a team that is only barely using the coaching and the nudging, still using Maverick, right? So again, like, this is again close to proxy for not using it at all. But again, that appointment set rate and then the held rate, and then look at the overall conversion rate.
Yeah, I'm
2.9.
looking at the conversion rate. That
Yeah, that's
conversion rate
incredible.
is very compelling.
And this
Yeah.
is cool. This is data Brady's pulling out of Follow Up Boss, right? From the calls from Maverick. So these are, I mean, guys, this is
Wild.
the Follow Up Boss community, right? This is you guys, right? I mean, we can do more and more case studies, and we're going to. And what I'm really trying to get through to team leads and even agents, and I think it comes to what Keegan said, becoming part of your culture and how you're using this data. You're paying for it. Pull this crap up and show it. And the idea is, and what's happening by role playing, by doing this, by doing the nudges, in essence, we're saying, we don't want you to have to make as many phone calls to as many people. It's just saying the right things to the right people, the ones that are hitting the smart list, because Follow Boss has dialed all this in, right? We've got all the information coming from Zillow, from Realtor, from Ylopo, from Real Scout, from everything, Fellow, all of these coming in. But then are we focused on saying the right thing based on that activity? And that's why we've built so much time and so many personas for the AI coaching. And there's a ton more coming in the next 4 weeks. Almost to the day, 4 weeks. That's going to help you, figure it out, from price reductions to calling your sphere to FISBOs, all of that. But if you're not looking at this as a team leader, if you're an agent on this webinar thinking, holy crap, by just practicing what I'm saying and learning what to say better, or how to ask for the appointments or set the right type of appointment, I'm going to go from a 4.2% conversion to 13.1. That's not saying call 100 additional people. It's just changing what you're saying to the people you're probably already talking to. That, to me, that's mind blowing.
This is a major part of our onboarding. We will not let agents get onto leads without, we actually make them do every single call at every single, I don't know if it's scale or it's like the easy person, and the pissed off
Yeah,
person,
irate,
right?
the confused,
Yeah.
each persona.
Yeah, we make them get a score of 8 or higher on every single one before they get turned on to leads. Like, I want them to do it. And typically what we see is when they do get onto leads, they're more ready to land those deals.
Yeah. And you're
Yeah.
gonna practice with real people. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Was there another one here, Brady, or was this your last slide?
That's my last slide.
So one thing about talking about making it part of the culture. This is another thing, and I think, Keegan, you guys said you're doing this. We're starting to do it as well. I'm just gonna go back in here. Is, we've got the rules and alerts I was showing you, right? If you collapse them all down, it kind of shows you. So I'm choosing one agent out of many. You don't have to do this for the entire team. But when you're doing one-on-ones, or you have somebody coming saying, hey, I'm struggling, things aren't working, what's great is you can put in that agent's name, look at the different categories, right? This particular agent's not on Ylopo. There's 0 past due, 0 at risk. I'm not too concerned. I know Maverick's already said, here are the areas you need to focus on. I can do this as a one-on-one, open this up, and I can see anywhere where there's red that there's issues. I mean, I'm just going back to this one right here. Well, hey, you really want to change your numbers quickly. You've got 4 people right now that have called you back that you're not calling back, right? That's an easy thing for me to go, oh, I don't know. Who are they? Okay, well, perfect. Let's just look. Right? It's not me. I could just quickly pull these people up, right? It looks like we're also struggling a little bit. If I bring this back down, it looks like we've got some issue maybe in the nurturing. Let's look at our long-term nurture, right? We're good down here. Some are getting close, but this is where we need to focus, right? It's not a lot of people. I'm not beating this agent up. I'm just like, hey, we've got 2. Like, these 2 people are outside what we're talking about, right? So what's great about this, you can look at smart lists, and I love smart lists, do it, but this gets a bit more granular into those. I can quickly pull them up based on different types of follow-up and activity and everything that's going on, and you can customize all of this. So when we start talking about make it part of your culture and all that. I think sometimes people are too afraid to let agents see behind the scenes or what. Pull this up in your huddles. You could leave it for the whole team and just see what areas as a team maybe you're falling down on. And we're not beating up. We're helping lift each other up, right? We all have areas that we can improve on. Where can we do it? You might have people that are full green bars in one section and others that are in the yellow and red. Well, now let's talk about the agents in the green. What are you guys doing to stay on top of this? Like, turn it into your team meeting. I know I hate it every freaking morning. What am I talking about at huddle? What am I talking about at huddle? Let the data be your huddle. Let the data and the activity be your huddle, and that becomes your culture for your team. I would be leveraging that on recruiting as well. I think a lot of teams are.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. We leverage in both, Gabe. What we see in our team meetings, we actually have once a week in our team meetings, we'll have an agent go up and present their numbers. Like, and that has been such a shift in, number one, adoption of the system, right? Because nobody wants to go up there and be like, oh my God, my numbers aren't accurate. And even if they are, it's like, okay, well, you're getting called on next week, so we'll have somebody else whose numbers are accurate. Like, we have made it to where there is a piece of accountability. And when somebody does do a good job, I love it when they're able to present their business as almost if it's like us presenting their business, but it's them. You hear the round of applause and like, oh my gosh, that was so great. Like, it has been the culture piece of it, uplifting everybody. And even if their numbers aren't great, agents are starting to realize where they're failing at in the funnel.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like this light that goes off. And I definitely hang our hat on culture, but that piece has been really fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about anything, right? I mean, let's even think about fitness, right? When you meet with a trainer or whatever, they're making you get on the scale. You're looking at the numbers. You're the reason you hired the trainer, or the reason you're getting Maverick, or the reason you get a CRM is, hey, we can't do this without it. We need visibility into the areas that we need to improve on, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we have this stuff. And I think when we stop hiding from it and we celebrate, the numbers and all of that and where you're going, it's there. And when you have the ones on huddle that are like, oh, I don't know if I want to present. Okay, well, don't, but look at the ones that are presenting and why. Now it's real easy. I mean, there's so many other reports and stuff in there that, when they're talking about calls where you can just it's not even you. It's, well, here's the whole team. Here's your rank based on how many phone calls per lead or this or that shows how you're stacking up. And you're always saying, man, Tiffany's constantly killing it. Well, all right, let's pull up her numbers. This is what she's doing. Let's pull up her rules and alerts and see how much red or yellow she has versus green, or her smart list, right? Whatever it is. So I think that it just really comes down to the culture piece, bringing it in, making it a part of your whole team meeting, and learning from the wins and success. So
I like how you said recruiting too. We definitely use it in recruiting.
Yeah, if you're frustrated, you got a lot of red on there. Here's why we're hiring. Like, we use tech to track all the opportunities in our database, and let's just go to the miss. I have 47 people right now that are waiting on callback from my agent. That means you start at the top of this, Keegan, with how many total leads and the reassigned leads and all that. When we start looking at those numbers, it makes it really easy now to show an agent why they should be joining the team. Every agent's been interviewed and said, oh, we do lead generation. We've got this. Show them the data, like literally.
And then tie that back to not only your team's closed transactions, but also the missed transactions. Because then you can see but it shows the value of your leads, right? Like, these are great leads. It feels terrible, but it's like, see, look, this was all this opportunity, and we have all the tools and resources at our fingertips to expose this opportunity, but we don't have enough manpower to work it.
Yeah.
So go get, so we need more people.
We literally have Maverick reports and other systems reports. We have 4 TVs that are like 85 inches, then in like a square stack as you walk into our office. And so when potential recruits come in, they see these and they're like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But it's cool because
Really
you have a leaderboard up there too.
Yeah, I think it's just a mindset shift. Don't be afraid of the data, celebrate it, learn from it, show it. And that's where we all are gonna grow. I know, just in case, I've got if somebody on here wants to learn more about Maverick, let me pull this up really quick. I'll put it on the screen for a minute so it's captured. on the video and stuff. You can scan this just to learn it. It's completely different based on team size and all of that. So best thing to do if you're curious about, you know, the rules and alerts, the AI coaching, the AI grading, where it's literally going in, pulling every phone call out of Follow Up Boss, grading it, and it gives you the report, right? It listens to the phone calls for you, so you don't have to, and says, hey, here's our overall score based on, did they ask for an appointment? Did they get the motivation? Did they get the location? Did they build rapport? Did they talk too much? Did they not ask enough questions? All of that's in there. So if you want to learn about all of that, just scan this QR code. That's probably the best way to learn about it. And you know, we'll keep bringing in people that are using it, like Keegan and his team, Tiffany, and a lot of others, to kind of share you know, their wins, where they've, you know, what they've learned and all that. So Keegan, any parting thoughts you want to leave with anybody?
Yeah, I just think the visibility into your data allows you to coach, and like that was something that was foreign to me, and to be able to continue to dive into it, to have that scheduled progress, right? And to learn it, and I get excited for it now because I'm like, oh, what new thing am I going to learn inside Mavic, or whatever system that I'm diving into? I just think that scheduled progress is really big. And once you get a hang of it, now it's like, you know, it feels good to really be able to dive into it and know it.
Yeah, I love that. Tiffany, how about you?
Data is friend, not foe. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Data is friend, not foe. Don't be afraid of it. Use it to your benefit. Tiny tweaks over time. And yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Brady? Mr.
Uh,
Numbers?
I think, you know, you don't go and run a marathon typically just fresh off of not practicing for it at all, right? And so again, like that's the scheduled progress element. You go out, you run a little bit, you run a little bit more, you run a little bit more, and then eventually now you run that marathon and you feel good about it and you finish in a high, you know, mark, right? So that's I think the critical thing to take away from this for anything that you do, not just the sales funnel or Maverick or anything else, is treat it like you're going to a marathon and you have to build up to it, right? Same
Yeah.
thing Keegan's saying.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I mean, all that's incredible. I think the biggest thing I've seen as, you know, really diving in and moving over onto the Maverick side here and helping, you know, run the company here is being able to see behind the curtains on so many teams and what's going on is, you know, understanding the importance of investing in converting what you've got, training based on what you have right now. And I've been a part of a lot of teams, whether either personally or mentoring, coaching, consulting with, to where, man, we got to get more sales, or I hired 5 more agents, so I need to invest another $5,000 in lead gen and all that. I'm not saying we don't need to fill the top of the funnel, but what it's really helped me realize is, wow, you can invest a small portion of that in really seeing the analytics of what's going in your database, the training that's available, and you'll probably get just as big as push, if not bigger, with what's in that existing database. And now you're set up even better to keep adding on as you go. So big thing is just, man, a lot of us have been doing this for a long time. We've built a ton of buyers into our database. We've had a market that isn't the easiest for buyers. We've wanted all the listings. We still want listings. But man, you've got a massive opportunity right now if you know where to be looking and spot opportunities within the database and help nudge, lift up those agents to hit them when they're ready to go. So
Yeah.
awesome, guys. Well, Keegan, thanks for joining us. Tiffany, thank you.
Thank you.
Brady, appreciate it. We'll get this out to everybody for the replay, and I think it's getting posted in YSC and Maverick, and I think maybe Follow Us. I'm not sure, but we'll get the recording out to everybody that registered regardless. So thank you guys, and have a great rest of your week.
Good to see
Thank you.
everybody.
Later,
See you guys.
guys.
Bye.